Hello and welcome to another episode of Film Freakz with a Z, the podcast all about movies, and movies. Each episode is about a single Every movie is about a single movie, and of course we'll introduce today's movie in a little bit. But first, I'd like to remind you all about the fan vote that happens every so often. You can submit a request for us to watch a movie, and it will be voted on by the community by either sending us an email at ff.filmfreakswithaz@gmail.com or by chatting in the movie reviews section on the Discord, or by commenting on the latest episode of the podcast on YouTube, which is probably the easiest way to do it. Thank you to everyone who voted on this episode's movie. Very much appreciated. And of course, like I said, we're going to introduce the movie in a little bit. But first, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. I am Yemmy the Ferret. Who am I here with?
Radio Waffle.
Animation.
And Coco Gamer.
We have a full crew today. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
How has everyone been since last? I mean, it's been so long since we talked last. It almost feels like it hasn't even been a week.
I mean, it's been a while since I've talked to Nick.
That's true.
Just working.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Hot, humid.
we have some
Sure.
housekeeping to do before we start into the movie review, because Greedy Waffles wasn't here last episode, and he's just got to give some thoughts and his rating on Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah, well, if you listen to the last episode, I gave it a 1 out of 5. I thought this movie was absolutely awful. There was just no, you guys, in the episode, you guys hit a lot of it. I did listen to it. You guys hit a lot of points. I definitely 1000% agree with Yemmy how The Rock was all, glamorous about himself. It was all about him, just like his, him touching his biceps or him, just doing this and that. It was just like that got a little ridiculous. And then Nick Jonas, whatever his name was in the movie, that's
Yeah.
just everything just seemed so pointless in the movie. And everything just seemed fillers and just jokes. They start up one issue and then they don't resolve it. And if they do resolve it, it was just awful. It was just horrible. I do agree. I think it was Tay and Yummy that gets killed by a mosquito, and he's a slow death. It was just to me that's just runtime, and the ending was predictable, and the jokes were just not funny, and the cringe scene of the whole movie was that seductive scene from that one girl, and then at the end they push that off. The guy and the girl was supposed to hook up, and then they get back and they're like, eh. And then 10 minutes later it's like, oh, go make your move. It's like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot about that. So it's just, writing was bad. Acting was okay. I did like Jack Black. I did like there was one joke when they first got into Jumanji, and The Rock threw the boomerang, and then the who's the short dude? Kevin Hart. He was like, "Oh, you want me to get you a hacky sack?" Like that made me laugh. But that was so quick and subtle, and then. I think again, Yummy hit it when it was like, oh well, they had a whole bunch of issues, and then all of a sudden, they don't build off of it. So that's my point. I wouldn't watch it again, and I wouldn't recommend it. I did not like this movie. Anyways.
Yeah, like I said, you were pretty hot in the DMs, so I wanted to give you your due on the podcast at least. But enough about Jumanji.
It was the worst movie I've seen.
I mean, is it though? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know
Compared
about.
to Brightburn.
It was
No.
rating so far.
I actually rated Brightburn above this movie.
Lowest rating so far in the series.
That's true. All right. Well, enough of Jumanji. We've already killed that with a bat. Let's move on to a movie that will probably be a little bit more uplifting this week. And that is the fan-voted Lilo and Stitch from 2002. This was recommended by Jesse, a.k.a. the Shiny Dude. And it was directed by Chris Sanders and Dean DeBlois. So the synopsis of this movie is, as Stitch, a runaway genetic experiment from a faraway planet, wreaks havoc on a Hawaiian island, he becomes the mischievous adopted alien puppy of an independent little girl named Lilo and learns about loyalty, friendship, and ohana, the Hawaiian tradition of family. I don't feel like trying to read these names again, but if you want to know the names, just look them up. They are a bit, you know, they're last names that you can't pronounce easily. But anyway, anywho. We don't really have a starting off point for this one because I wasn't able to contact the person who recommended the movie, so I was wondering if anyone here had something that they want to start off with.
I do. I have a good starting point.
All right, take it away, Greedy Waffle.
I want to talk about the relationship between the guy and the quote-unquote mom. I think it was pointless and stupid. I don't know what you guys think.
I mean, I thought it was fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why you took so much issue with it. Maybe expand on it a little bit, and maybe I'll understand.
I just thought, like, with the way they're directing the movie, it just was out of place, and it was like an outlier, and it just seemed pointless to have it in the movie.
Hey, my game said I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I think they kind of sprinkled him in there every so often, and obviously there's things you kind of, you know, they do off screen or, you know, before the movie, that builds up to this point. But he was just a side character, so I don't really put too much, like, there's not a lot of focus on him in general. He's more of just like a side character to kind of I don't know, be a love interest for the sister, pretty much.
Yep.
And he did like randomly help out with certain things.
Oh,
so...
yeah. He actually had an important role in the movie. He saves both Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me of that part. Like, but she like went down. It's just basically kicked her in the head, kicked the Stitch in the head, but didn't say anything afterwards.
Well, that's because the sister didn't trust Stitch until very late into the movie, and when he quote unquote dragged her down, he didn't actually drag her down intentionally. She kicked him in the head because, you know, she didn't know that something else was happening. She just thought that he was being a bitch and bopped him in the head, you know.
That was kind of most of the movie, though. Just finding ways to bop him in the head.
But yeah, I think going back to the love interest, I just think I think he was introduced well enough, and he had a background role in the movie that was good enough. It helped move the plot along, and I don't really see a problem in you know, in the whole, you know, him being a part of the story.
Grand scheme of things.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, he didn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought the one scene where the alien and they were trying to make her jealous, I thought that was a little much. So.
Make her jealous?
Yeah.
What scene you talking about?
Yeah. Where they're like on the beach and they're watching, or she was like, no, doing the surf. She was at work and they're like trying to. Did I watch the right movie? 2002, right?
Yeah.
Are we talking about that dinner scene?
Yeah, they're like the alien. She was working and she was in the little hut, or like trying to make her jealous because he was distracting. That was when they're like trying to get the toaster. It was like right after. And
you might have watched the wrong movie.
I watched Lilo and Stitch from 2002.
I mean,
What about? I don't remember
I don't
anything
remember
about
anything
a
about a
toaster.
toaster. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember her
I don't
trying
think,
to
like,
make him jealous. I mean, from the get go, he was into her. I mean, he's the
Yeah.
fire breathing guy. He does the fire breathing, and they do the surfing.
I
Yeah,
definitely watched the wrong movie then because I watched Lilo and Stitch from 2002.
You watched the one from 2003 that was like about Stitch's cousins.
Well, there's
Uh.
a few movies in the series.
Yeah.
One of them is Lilo and Stitch 2, which I mean I don't think you would watch that one. There's one
No.
called Just Stitch the movie, which was
Yeah,
from
I want that.
2003, which is just like a spin-off. And then there's Leroy and Stitch from 2006, which I've never heard of these direct-to-DVD movies.
Yeah.
So
I watched the 2002. I have it right here.
I used one Disney Plus.
I don't know what you're talking about with the
Yeah, I don't remember any
toaster
toaster. Maybe
thing.
I just missed that scene or just left in my head. But I do kind of know what you're talking about. But I just
Well, if you kind of know what he's talking about, did it actually? I mean, do you remember?
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
that's
like,
more
I-
than me.
I remember like the scene where like they're trying, like you talk to him and they accidentally get them fired from a job.
But that doesn't include the boyfriend, dude.
I don't remember any.
That I mean
I
that
remember
scene
the
with the
jealousy,
the two aliens are eating dinner and Stitch starts eating the one guy's head. I mean that
Yeah,
there was nothing to do with the boyfriend in that scene.
jealousy.
Or
Yeah.
jealousy. I don't no jealousy in that scene either.
Hmm.
And now the mystery is what did Greedy Waffles watch?
I
Yeah,
have
boy.
no clue.
Lilo and Stitch,
Eh.
2002, right here.
Describe a little bit more of the scene then.
Let's see. The scene? So,
Yeah.
I mean, right here, the description right here. As Stitch, a
No,
runaway
no. Just
Not
talk
the-
about
not the,
the toaster
summary,
scene.
the-
Talk about this toaster scene again, because I have no clue what you're talking about.
Because the main goal was to what's the word I'm looking like repower Stitch. So
Mm,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was
you might have watched. Did you watch like the TV show?
no, it wasn't a TV show. It was an hour and 80 or 85 minutes. No,
Repower Stitch? That
Oh,
That
no,
sounds like one of
that's-
the
I was
spin-offs.
seeing that.
yeah, that's not this movie. Repo-
I
so
found
so
this
in the
strange
movie you watched, Stitch and Lilo were already acquainted and all that.
yeah.
So yeah, you watched the wrong movie.
Oh, gee.
Greedy.
I'm trying to read some of these descriptions.
I mean, it's a movie, so I mean,
I
Lilo
don't.
and Stitch,
I'm trying to
2002.
see like re-energize Stitch. I don't see it anywhere.
Yeah,
Is it like there's a Chinese knockoff or something?
Probably is.
Where did you did you just watch it on Disney Plus?
no, I watch it on Plex, so I don't know if it's like
Oh, that's probably why.
Oh,
Fuck,
it's
that's a
the
lot of-
illegal. You watched it on the illegal website.
it's not illegal.
But yeah, I know what you're I think Plex has a lot of like those different type of movies.
Why
like,
don't you just
you'll
watch it on Disney Plus?
Yeah, there's so much easier on Disney Plus.
Studio Walt Disney Pictures, directed by Chris Sanders.
I'm thinking
It's
that.
a movie.
I mean,
It's a
I'm,
movie, so
I mean, is the name Lilo and Stitch?
yeah, Lilo and Stitch.
My guess is
2002.
they made it look like it's the actual movie, but then it's not.
Yeah, that's probably
something
where it
tells me
is.
it was not the. It was not Lilo and Stitch. That's for sure. I don't know.
That might
You
be
know-
Lilo and Stitch 2.
Did
I
you
don't know,
watch
'cause-
the-
I was trying to look at the description of Lilo and Stitch 2.
Did you watch
and-
2006 six?
No, it says 2002, as I said, repetitively,
Well,
over and over.
Like I said, no, I does say that. It's probably, but like I said, it's probably just mislabeled on this website.
Yeah, Plex wasn't the best of websites. That's all.
So like they got the information from the original, but then linked it to a different movie.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. Oh, greedy fool.
All right. Well,
Well, I got sidetracked.
No wonder you didn't like it as much.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the worst movie ever, and you guys are like, ah.
Yeah, it was probably one of those, straight to DVD movies
Yeah.
that, it's just like, Lion King 2, Beauty and the Beast 2, it's all those like we made a second movie for the fans, but we didn't put our
never
best
told
foot
anyone.
forward,
It
and we
was-
didn't
I
put
think
our
it
best
was-
animators forward, and
Yeah, no, whoever was, I can't remember who was in charge of Disney at the time. It might have been Bob Iger.
I think it's
But he-
Walt.
No, like
That's just a joke.
I know. No, but like, I think, like I said, I think it was Bob Iger who was just like, no, let's just, because they make, a lot of money off the DVDs because little kids, get their parents to buy them. So they just put so many things direct to DVD that were just garbage. They didn't care. Kids were
Right.
going to eat them up anyways.
It's just like what companies are doing nowadays. They see like a movie like
Yeah.
Frozen, and then they
Yeah.
make a movie called like, Frozen Landscape or something. Something that has the
Yeah.
name Frozen in it, and then it's like this horribly animated, horribly acted piece of shit
Yeah.
that only old people on Amazon shopping on Amazon would buy for their grandchildren or even out of touch parents.
It's like,
So-
oh, when Frozen, we're Frozen home, Frozen home.
Yeah. So I did find the synopsis for Lilo and Stitch 2, and that is what you watched.
Oh, jeez.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because the original Lilo and Stitch, like I was gonna say, I mean, it's beautifully has great artwork, beautiful artwork, great music. The story is pretty good with the and I was just really confused because like I didn't even think twice about the love story. I thought it was fine in there.
Yeah. Because they didn't have like too much of an element in it. Because it was like, he's not important too, right? And he's not that important right now. It's like, it's just, he's here. But he'll do some plot stuff.
Yeah. They had no other use for him in the second one, so they were just like, whatever. They're gonna make him
Norman.
jealous. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Wow. Oh, shit.
Yeah. Well, what's the plan now?
I really like this episode as a concept, but it just doesn't work because
Yeah.
we'll all be talking about a different movie than Nick.
I should
Yeah.
you should just cut that whole part out, and I should just be like talking about something else that people will be like, what?
And then reveal at the very end that he saw a different movie.
Well, I mean, Greedy, if you want to sit out, you can watch the movie and talk about it like next time.
Again, sit out again.
Well, you could stay in the call and comment on some things if you want,
Or do we
Up
just
to you.
or you
Do
could
we
you
give-
could start the movie right now and just comment as you
Yeah.
watch.
Block it on 1.5 speed.
say, or do we just like record next week? Give him a chance to watch it.
Yeah, I
I don't know what.
we can do that. I mean, it's up to you, Nick.
We can keep this episode. It's fine. Won't the embarrassment, I guess, take over? I don't know.
All right. Well, don't trust Plex in the future. How
Yeah.
about that?
Do you
Series,
have
for a
this?
series?
Do you have Disney Plus?
Yeah,
I
he's the
do,
one.
yeah.
He's the one who pays for it between me and him. I
Why
pay for
didn't you watch it
Hulu.
on
And,
Disney Plus then.
yeah, I don't.
Because
that's
that's on my
what I
TV, and I just watch it on my computer. So I was just like, I'm sitting
I
at my
want-
computer.
Disney
I
Plus has a
watched it on my
website.
computer too, but I just went to Disney Plus and
All right, we won't
Yeah.
we won't rag on him. Okay,
I know, I
he
know.
made a mistake.
we all make mistakes.
Yes.
It's
All right.
quality
It's
content.
Leo and Stitch 2002, so I was like, oh.
Yeah, I used Freakz like a while ago. 'cause
Have you ever
we
seen it before
shared-
though?
No.
Okay, so that's why you didn't notice that was the because I think I would
I
have
was never
immediately.
a fan
'cause-
of this series growing up, so like
What?
I don't know anything about it.
I mean, it came out in 2002. I mean, this was one of those movies that I watched when I was a kid, and then I also watched the TV series a lot when I was a kid. So
Yeah, I watched a couple episodes of the TV series, but I was like never into it. So growing up,
Yeah.
well, yeah. Anyway, we'll just go along with the episode, and you'll just give your actual thoughts next week. And
If anybody ever recommends, Lilo Stitch 2, I'll be golden.
yeah, there you go. So, guys, the one thing that I brought up last episode that I didn't want to talk about yet was that they changed a scene in the movie specifically for the Disney Plus version of the movie. Did anyone catch on to what the scene was?
I thought there was I thought I remember seeing something about the scene like there where the plane's flying through, and like originally it was flying through kind of more of a city, and because of 9/11 they changed that. But I think that was actually they changed that for the theatrical.
They changed that before the movie came out. I'm talking about it's a very small thing that I'm talking about, and they did it specifically for the Disney Plus version of the movie.
Is it saying like there's no major town around anymore, like around that place, even though like they've shown it before, but I think
No, that's just part of the movie.
yeah, I don't know. I haven't
So
watched.
all right. So I'll just say, so remember the scene where Lilo is trying to hide from her sister? It's right after it's really early in the movie, and she for some reason is hiding in a
Oven?
Washing machine.
well, there's
Or
a
is it
washing machine next to it, and it's supposed to be a dryer that she's hiding in. But they changed it to be a like cabinet type thing with a pizza box inside of it that she comes out of. And they
Well,
didn't, and they wanted to change that because I guess they were afraid that kids would try and hide inside the dryer and get stuck, and
Yeah.
bad news.
Yeah.
Honest. I mean, actually, Nick will remember this. Here's a point where he can comment because I remember playing hide and seek with him back a long time ago when he hid inside the dryer.
I did. True fact.
So I don't know, like, how dangerous is that actually, or is it just something that they kind of like decided to take, initiative and just change it before something actually happened?
Yeah. Probably the latter there, where they just like, somebody stupid's gonna do this and complain and say it was us. Let's just change it now.
Sorry.
How dare they enforce childhood endangerments by saying to go ahead in the dryer?
You probably figured that someone would be mad about it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very awkward too, because they had to animate,
Yeah.
they reanimate the scene practically. So the pizza box like just looks like a different art style compared to the rest of the art style they're in. Even though this is obviously old hand drawn style stuff, so anything that's animated has a kind of a different color to it than anything else. That Stitch is going to jump onto like this broken piece of plane because guess what, that broken piece of plane is like a darker shade of blue than the rest of it. It pops out.
Yeah.
But this was a little bit more obvious than that kind of stuff.
I didn't notice it, so
Well, I was looking for it, so I guess that's
Yeah.
the difference there.
Well, you didn't know
Probably.
about it. We did.
Well, yeah, because Lilo and Stitch was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. I watched a lot. I mean, I loved Stitch, and that's why I watched the TV show too, because Stitch was like such a fun character, and I still think he's a great character, and Lilo is fun too. And I was having a good time through the entire movie. I had laughs, I had tears. I thought it was overall just a nice experience.
That reminds me, like one of my favorite moments of Lilo is like I can't remember what she said to her, but just jump over and bite her and like basically just kick her ass.
Yeah, they started off with a lot of violence there.
Yeah. I don't know, made me laugh. I really enjoyed it.
Coco likes seeing children be beaten up. I'll write that down. But yeah, I think you can say whatever you want about Disney, but they really put a lot of research into the areas that they base their movies around. And this one is no exception. I mean, all the way down to like the music. It is just it's Hawaii,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure they had a lot of people who are from Hawaii work on this. I mean, all the actors sound like we're Hawaiian because you can't pronounce their name.
Yeah, they're all Pacific Islanders.
Yeah. So, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me that they get such detail right because Even if they didn't have Hawaiians, they probably went and talked to a lot of Hawaiians and made sure they had Hawaiian consultants. Because I know, like for Lion King, they did a lot of stuff with Africa, and then like should like bring in actual animals and.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, I think like the vibrance of the colors and everything, like the whole color palette of the movie just shines. The artwork is really well done, and the animation's pretty good too. It definitely holds up from like it's 2002. You think back to other movies that came out in 2002, and this one holds up quite well. Even by today's standards, you could still have your kid watch this and they'd have a good time.
Yeah, well, that's the one nice thing about animated movies is, long as the material isn't like dated, like this works whatever year you're watching it. The animation usually always holds up, unless it's a cartoon, like a TV cartoon from the '80s, and then it's like, oh, this animation is garbage.
Did you guys like the inclusion of so much Elvis in the movie?
Yeah, that was a very big.
It was a little heavy-handed with the Elvis stuff. I would say that. I know he's big with Hawaii, and but I would have rather have heard like some actual Hawaiian music at times instead of like ain't nothing but a hound dog. It's like this is not what I was expecting to play at this point.
Yeah, it was weird that he could play the. It looked like a ukulele for his guitar, but it sounded like an electric guitar.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I don't put too much thought into that stuff because it's like,
That's
they're gonna animate like an entire guitar for him. They'd rather just do it a ukulele, and it wasn't even plugged in too. So
yeah, well, they do have electric ukuleles, but that one, yeah, like I said, it was his alien powers.
yeah.
Also, what was funny to me is that like the first time Brady breaks glass, but when he gets the speakers, nothing else breaks a part of it.
Oh yeah, that was just I found that scene a little ridiculous. I'm like, wait a second, he's breaking all the windows and everything. It's like, yes, to advance the plot that she's not getting a job in time, but it's like, he could have just like let out a big like screech too, like he was trying to imitate Elvis or something instead of the ukulele causing it.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, I tried to put too much thought into it, but that was one scene where I was like, probably could have done that a little different.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that was one. So like when she's looking for a job and just bringing Lilo and Stitch with her. Which, like, I get that why she was bringing them because, Bubbles had already, like, said, do not leave her alone or you definitely will lose her.
Yeah.
And so she's bringing her along. But it's like, she didn't even tell her, like, hey, just sit here. Don't. I know you're trying, she was trying to civilize, make him an upstanding citizen, but I don't know. I feel like the Noni could have been like, hey, here, do this instead. Don't break stuff. Stop it.
Well, I mean, she's a kid. She probably wouldn't have stayed still anyway. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. She told us like stay still sometimes, but nope, she left.
Yeah. Stay right there. House explodes about 3 seconds later.
Yeah. That one wasn't on her though.
Well, that's true. Yeah. So, what do you guys think of the alien designs?
I really liked the alien designs.
Kind of remind me of like. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was like, yeah, the big like captain guy. I really liked his design. But yeah.
Did you like his overly Russian accent?
No. Yeah, that was. Yeah. But his design and animation were really good.
I didn't understand his feet. His feet look kind of weird. They're like big round discs.
Were they? I thought they were more like you see him run by Noni at one point. I thought they were just like elephant feet.
That's what I thought too initially, but some scenes they look kind of discish.
Maybe he's wearing shoes?
I don't know. I mean, it's just it's all the same color. I don't know.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Coco?
I would say they kind of remind me of like the Monster Inc. designs. Like,
Yeah, like with Mike Wazowski.
Yeah. And you got the like the I can never remember the names. The Sully's boss and the way his eyes look remind me of like the same type of thing.
Well, this came out first, if I remember right.
Yeah, because they were still doing 2D animation here.
Yeah,
Well,
true.
Monsters Inc. was Pixar.
That is also true.
So, like, I mean, Toy Story came out in '96. So, but I think Monsters Inc. came out in like 2003, 2004.
Yeah,
It
something
came
like
out the
that.
same year as Shrek. I know that.
Well, I'm surprised you don't know the year Shrek came out.
Yeah, me. 2001.
Well, do the math. It was 20 years ago. 2001.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right then. So Monsters Inc. did come out first.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right then.
But
They
that's
stole,
that's besides the point.
they stole Pixar's monster designs.
I don't know. I don't think they look that
No, I
don't.
closely related.
No, I don't.
I mean, just
I'm
because the
just
one guy has
similarity.
one eye and the other guy has 4 eyes doesn't mean that they ripped off the
I know.
characters.
I know. I'm joking.
Like Disney does a lot of shady stuff, but I think this is an exception here. I think the designs are pretty unique to the characters.
Yeah.
I really like the they have like these dinosaur type guys in suits. I kind of
Yeah.
like their design. I was like, huh, you know, they're
Didn't
kind
have
of
much of a scene in these movies other than that one part where you're just like where to grab Stitch.
well, they're kind of littered throughout, but
Yeah.
I think the main captain guy, what's his name? I didn't like his design compared to the others. He seemed a little bit too like I don't know. He's just like a giant like sharky dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know.
Like a street shark.
Street
Poor
shark.
It's a poor king shot.
Yeah, I didn't like his design, but everyone else I thought was good.
Yeah.
And they keep the designs relatively consistent throughout the TV show. So, you know, you can definitely watch the TV show after this one. Not so sure about Lilo and Stitch 2 though, but
Nick could tell us more about that.
Nick's probably gone. He's
Yeah. It's like man.
Ah,
But yeah, you know, it's interesting. They didn't really make a joke out of it. And this is like remember this is like 2002. They didn't really make a joke out of this, but the one-eyed guy, forgot his name already. Jumba or Peakley?
There's something
Peakley.
weird.
He and this happens throughout the TV show and other movies as well. He cross-dresses, and I think that it might be
Yeah.
and they don't make a joke out of it, I should say. Most of the time they don't make a joke out of it. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
like I don't know if it was intended to not be a joke or if it was intended to be a joke and I just didn't find it funny. But they didn't like make a point to like point it out and laugh at it, right?
There was like one scene where he was caught like cross-dressing by him, but other than that, there wasn't really anything else.
Yeah, so I'm almost wondering if this was like a pro trans type movie.
If it was, that'd be pretty nice.
It would be cool, but I don't think they intended that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
think it
think
was
it's- yeah.
intended, especially in 2002. But
Yeah.
I do appreciate that they didn't like point it out, like make a joke, like, "Oh, he cross dresses, gross."
Well, yeah, it was a pretty easy punchline back in the day to just
Yeah.
kind of make fun of that out of nowhere. I was watching this movie called Kung Fu Hustle, and there's one guy in there who's kind of more flamboyant, and that's like they point it out so much, and they
Yeah.
like make fun of him so much, and I just felt really weird while watching it at those moments. And
Yeah.
this movie didn't make me feel like that at all, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just like it depends on whoever's directing it.
Well, it also, I mean, it mostly depends on your writers.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. That's also true. Trying to think. Oh, I'm gonna talk about when Stitch first lands. Like, would you? It kind of goes back to the color palette, but I love that they shine just all black on his ship instead of just like having like the skilled lights around when you like just his little maniacal laugh.
Yeah, I like his little laugh.
I just like how he
Yeah.
talks in general. Like
Yeah.
they did a good job of like capturing his voice. Like I don't know. There's something about how he talks, and I think one of the most powerful moments of the movie is like when he's out in the forest and it's like starting to rain. And he's reading that Ugly Duckling book, and he just says, "I'm lost." Like that actually like got to me. I was like, "Oh man, I understand this character completely," and he hasn't said one thing during this entire movie until this point.
He said hi.
Hi. It's a little.
It's a,
But I'm
like
just.
he-
I mean, it's still like it's one of those moments in the movie where it's like, oh well, I like that they can convey his character without them actually having to be like, he's he's an oddball out. Oh, he's
he's mad.
yeah. They don't actually have to like point that out. They can actually do it just through imagery and slight talking, I guess.
Yeah.
But Coco,
I
this
do
was
like-
your first time watching this movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I was like,
yeah. Just what were we gonna say?
yeah, so I was pleasantly surprised by it, cause like I seen like some parts of it, but I haven't like officially just like sat down and watched it. I was pleasantly surprised by how story got continuously better throughout the movie.
Oh, so you didn't like where it started off?
Well, like I watched some of it, but I was also like a little confused.
Yeah, the beginning is a lot of like information dumped on you, kind of at the same time.
Mhm.
You got the guy who's making this experiment, and they're calling him by a weird name, and
Yeah,
I
it's
understand where
there's,
the confusion can come in.
Yeah, but then like the story kind of died down, and they started introducing the characters more.
Right? Yeah.
So, yeah, I personally did enjoy this. So I did, because I'm not like a huge fan of these Disney feel good movies.
Oh, okay. You don't like the older style of Disney then?
Yeah, no, I'm not not into that.
I guess you kind of had to grow up with it, but
Yeah.
I mean 1990s through now, like 2005 were my kid years, and I loved most of the movies that I watched from them. I think
Yeah.
that's true for like everyone who was young during this time, because this was this was after the Renaissance, what they call, I think, right? That technically
Yeah.
this is after the Renaissance.
I believe so, yeah.
What did they call
can't-
this time period in Disney?
I can't remember.
Post Renaissance. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't know, but like it started with I think Little Mermaid, maybe?
I don't know, something like that.
And then you had Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King.
Mhm.
Were all really good. And then you had a few years where it was like Hunchback, Pocahontas, which were kind of eh.
I have to
And then-
rewatch Hunchback because I was listening to a YouTuber and he was like gushing over it. So I might have to put that on my watch list.
Yeah, I mean,
But I
like,
think
as a kid-
Pocahontas is in general, like everyone agrees, like, yep, that was a bad and problematic movie.
Yeah. Well, and like Hunchback, I think like as a kid, it's just it didn't ring well with kids. And then after that, then they started like with Hercules, Lilo and Stitch, Emperor's New Groove,
Oh yeah,
which all had a different feel from the earlier stuff.
yeah.
Earlier stuff. But yeah, I really like like The Lion King, Aladdin, love those. Emperor's New Groove, Hercules, those are great too. And then then after I don't remember what year it was, but after what was it after Lilo and Stitch where they suddenly just went, we're gonna make 3D movies, and you're like, oh, these aren't as good. They lost some of the charm.
Yeah, there's something to be said about the beauty of hand drawn art, especially in this
Yeah.
era of Disney. I mean, like I said before, like the color palette on this movie is just so vibrant and beautiful, And then you look
Yeah.
at something like even like Princess and the Frog, like even though it's 2D animation, it was still kind of plain and kind of boring at times with the visual style. The villain was animated beautifully, but everything else is just kind of like, there's all these just kind of pale colors.
It's been forever since I've seen that movie, so I remember. But yeah, that was a weird one where like they did a bunch of 2D stuff like Meet the Robinsons and Chicken Little and all those, and then they went back to the 2D, and everyone's like, "Oh, this was a pleasant surprise. It was nice compared to your garbage 3D movies that weren't good." And then after that, they switched back to 3D animation, but they got better. Like that's where you get, like Rapunzel
Tangled.
or not, and Frozen, I guess. Big Hero 6. And then you're like, okay, you guys got better. Okay.
It's a continuous cycle of like, okay, we're doing something good, then we're gonna do something bad. We're gonna do something good, then we're gonna do something bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause then-
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll see just more good.
yeah. I want more. I want more movies like Soul. I really enjoy
Yeah.
Soul, and
Pixar-
I rated this one the same as Soul, so that just tells you how much I liked both those movies. So,
Yeah, I was like Pixar's usually really good unless they try to like pigeonhole a sequel in for a kid,
Yeah.
like Cars 2 and like even Cars 1 was like surprisingly like, oh. And I don't know if it's because like I went into it thinking this is gonna be garbage and then going, well, you know what, that wasn't that bad.
yeah, that movie came out at the perfect time for me because I was like a kid into Cars. So
Yeah. Which is why they made Cars 2 and then Cars
I never
3.
saw 2 or 3. Even,
I
as
never
much as
did
I
either.
liked Cars back when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I
I didn't
guess
either.
saw 2, but I can't remember if I finished 3.
I heard
a
3
while
like
ago.
I would say I heard 2 was bad, 3 was good. I don't know. I never really heard much about 3. Just thought it was better than 2.
Yeah. Well,
But that's off topic. This isn't a hit Disney movie.
well, I think we've said all we need to say, right? I don't know if anyone else has
Yeah.
anything they
Yeah.
want to say about the Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, no.
All right. Well, we'll go into our final thoughts and rating. Nick, why don't you start us off?
Very funny.
I'll start off just because. But I thought going back to this movie, I was kind of nervous that I wouldn't like it as much, but I ended up liking it, as much as when I was a kid. Like I said, I laughed. I had some tears during the end. I liked it all in general. Love Stitch as a character. I just in the TV show, I just wish that the later movies did him a little bit more justice. They kind of went a little crazy in the later movies because they had like multiple Stitches coming and stuff. It was like not coming. But anyway, I like the dynamic between Lilo and Stitch. I thought that the artwork was, or the animation was great. And there's not much else to say about it. But I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5.
I agree with you, Yemmy. Pretty much in every point, and I also give it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I have to. If you all like, I didn't know what I was going to expect from this movie because I had never seen before. But I was pleasantly surprised by the animation and the story. So yeah, give it a 4 out of 5.
All right, and now the real question is though, Nick, what would you rate the sequel?
The second one, I'd give it a 3. I would now recommend the second one if you guys watch.
You
Also
wouldn't
gave it a
wait,
3,
yeah,
though?
3's pretty
Yeah.
high for.
Yeah, 3's like it's a decent movie.
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah, it
neutral
was
rating.
decent, but from what I'm hearing, it's not as like you're gonna expect more from the
Yeah.
second than
Gotcha. Well, no,
kind of like expect or no going with it into it with like high expectations, I guess.
yeah.
And then you be disappointed.
Yeah. Well, like I'm familiar again, going back to Disney, I'm familiar with their cash grab shitty sequel movies. So I wouldn't go in expecting it to be good at all.
Alrighty. Well, I guess Nick will just play catch up again this month, or not this month, next episode with this one. But it seems like we're all pretty much on the same page, and we'll see how Nick feels when he does a mini review next episode.
Yeah.
But it is time for the movie recommendation for the next episode, which will be in 2 weeks. And y'all know that I've been playing a lot. So much Mass Effect. I practically live, breathe, and shit it. And I thought that I might as well... we might as well go kind of sci-fi with this one, just because I've been in the mood for it, and I don't want to go too far into sci-fi where it seems unrealistic, so I wanted to choose something that was kind of in the realm of possibility in the near future, or 100 years or so. And I obviously haven't seen this movie since it came out. I read the book for it too, because I was really interested in it. And that movie is The Martian from 2015, which was directed by Ridley Scott. It stars... Actually, hold on. The synopsis is... During a manned mission to Mars, astronaut Mark Watney is presumed dead after a fierce storm and is left behind by his crew. But Watney has survived and finds himself stranded and alone on a hostile planet with only a meager amount of supplies. He must draw upon his ingenuity, wit, and spirit to subsist and find a way to signal to Earth that he is still alive. And this stars Matt Damon, Jessica Chastain, Kristen Wiig, Jeff Daniels, Michael Pena, and Sean Bean, to name a few of the main actors there. So yeah, I thought I might as well. I mean, come on. I mean,
Yeah, no, I've seen it once and I loved it when I saw it, so I'm excited to visit it again.
Yeah, I figured because like this is kind of like I imagine this movie being like the first stepping stone for like a in the Mass Effect universe. I don't know how versed you guys are with it, but humans go to Mars first and they find like advanced technology, even though that doesn't exactly happen in this movie. Little spoiler there, but it still has like that same flavor, and like I said, it's kind of in the realm of possibility. Like I remember they did it, they did the technology pretty well in the movie, like kind of making it seem like it would be more realistic. So I really wanted to go back to it, one, and two, I've just been in that like huge sci-fi mood, since I've been slamming and jamming the Mass Effect trilogy again.
As soon as you said Mass Effect, I thought you were going to either be or Interstellar or The Martian.
But yeah, if you don't want to be spoiled for The Martian from 2015, make sure you watch it before next episode. You can find it on Amazon, iTunes, Vudu, Google, YouTube, all the common places there. And if for whatever reason it's crappy animation or doesn't star Matt Damon, then you know that it's the wrong movie. Greedy Waffles is silent. All right. So anywho, yeah, check that out. 2 weeks that episode will be out. And then as a reminder, make sure if you have a recommendation for us that you do one of the three things that I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, either commenting in the Discord, commenting on the latest episode on YouTube, or sending us an email. You can do whatever those that you want. It'll probably end up in the next vote, which happens on the same day that Tay's recommendation is uploaded. So stay tuned for that. But anyway, anyone else have anything that they want to say before we end the show?
Don't trust Pix, was it? Or
Plex.
Yeah, don't trust Pix either.
All right, well, I am Yemmy the Ferret, and I've been here with...
Greedy Waffle, I think.
Nation.
Coco Gamer.
And we are Film Freaks with a Z. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
See you.
Bye.
See ya.